than I normally do my live, but I had some free time here, and I thought it was a very appropriate time to do the live as Bitcoin's over 109,000. When I came on earlier this morning and did my update, not very many people watched it, which it is what it is. I think it had like 600 views. So a lot of people probably missed that part of the information. Rick, welcome in. And thanks for being thanks for being a very trusted mod, Rick. I really, really, really appreciate it. It'll take a second for this to get pushed around. We'll see how it looks. We'll see if it puts it in the proper scale. I don't know. Hopefully, I think it did. Pretty sure it did. Yes, indeed it did. So if you could hit that like button and share this, I'd greatly appreciate it. George, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. The Gatman, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Unbelievable. Crypto Cooter and Aaron, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteors. Nick, welcome in, friend. Jennifer Kupiak, welcome, love. Nanestead boy, good afternoon. Anthony Venegas, good morning, good afternoon to you, friend. Hamza, welcome in. Says, hey, Tom and peeps on lunch break. Excellent. Ireli, welcome in, love. I'm glad to see you in here. Hello to you. D, good afternoon. John Patak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. What a beautiful audience. Let's see. Mark Caston, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Good afternoon, friend. McMichael, good afternoon, along with Timothy Perez. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. XRP Hitman, welcome in. Trading with J-Ride, good afternoon, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Getting close to that 4-year Phoenix badge. Oof, the XRP Phoenix badge. A couple people have it already, believe it or not. Carolyn says, XRP holder since August 2024. Carolina Beach, North Carolina. And you bought in at the perfect time. Literally before the parabolic spike. A month before. Big Dog, 3 months before. Big Dog, welcome in along with Al. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. I know it's the first month because that's my face superimposed on there. And Al, thank you so much for being the newest member. Thank you so much. I think you were the one who said that you were watching the first video and how it is from 4 years later. It's quite interesting how it's playing out, isn't it? Please tell me if Quant is a good buy for this bull run. Yeah, it's a great buy. It just depends where you buy it and what your tolerance level is. I put out a buy alert for Quant not too long ago, honestly, on this inverse head and shoulders, and I talked about buying it down here and just doing what you're going to do if you were a fan of Quant. So I put out a buy alert at like $64. We ran up a leverage trade for a decent profit. So yeah, I mean, it's breaking out, and honestly, Quant is going to go much higher. I have these targets way up over the top where I think it's eventually going to get to. So yeah, I think it's a solid bet for an indicative bull run if it comes in. Let's see. I want to see one thing. Patrick, welcome in. Glad to see you in here, friend. Hugh Allen, welcome. Luciano, good evening. Corey Zingberg, welcome in this afternoon. Summit, welcome. GY's, what is a decent XRP bag? 10,000 tokens. I think 10,000 tokens is the appropriate spot to be if you were fortunate enough to get there. Laurel, welcome in from the Bahamas. Awesome. Jorge, good afternoon, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor and being a very trusted mod. Jessica Garcia, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Really appreciate that, love. I'm so ready for this big run. We're close. That's why this morning I said, buy Ethereum if you so choose. I happened to buy last night a 10x, or what is it? Yeah, 10x on Ethereum. And it was at 2,531. I think the liquidation's around 2,212. It's like a $560, so it turns into a $5,600. But I don't like to hold spot, but I have 2.22 Ethereum via the 10x trade, so you can do the math. And there's a strategic reason why it's 2.22, obviously. But I didn't say it just to blow smoke. I said it because I felt something big was coming. Let's see. G-Wise, I bought some ACH the other day, and thank you. It's up. Oh, yeah, me too. I bought 110,000 a couple days ago. Tried to do a video on it yesterday, the urgency of it. Only got 450 views. The lives do great. The lives get a lot of views, a lot of watch time. The shorts get a lot of views. But the updates, it depends. I talked about my purchase of ZBCN because I thought it was getting ready for a breakout. I have 1.1 million. And that was just reacquired not terribly long ago when it made the drop. I told everybody I was waiting for that 1.4 drop. I said it was close enough. I bought 1.1 million. I'm just letting it ride now. That was the back test. I also have Canto, 255,000. I have 110,000 ACH. Those are all the most recent purchases, I would say. I know Casper's on BITUNIX now. MXC seems like it came down to form that support structure. So there's a lot of stuff happening. I have a lot of outside the box thinking here as well. So it's not just one general direction. There's a few things that I pick up on. And like I said, I can show you what I'm doing. I can teach you what I'm doing, but I can't make you do what I'm doing. And I also can't force you to think the way I think. Let's see. I wish there was more members of Tom's Army. There's so many more people not in Tom's Army compared to being in Tom's Army. I remember a time when most of the people in the lives were in Tom's Army. Now most of you are not. Hey, we'll work our way back. Flowfoos, we are looking good indeed. Welcome in. Let's see. Great Fool Dad, welcome. WWG, welcome. Mickey Boy, good afternoon. Campbell Vision, good afternoon to you as well. What site do you use to trade with leverage? BITUNIX. It's the only one. It's pinned on this very live, as a matter of fact. It's the only exchange I would use. Lowest spot and leverage trading fees. Lowest maker taker. There is no KYC or VPN worldwide if you don't want to do it. Yes, James, 1.2 million tokens. Not $1.2 million, 1.2 million tokens of ZBCN. Indeed. Let's see. Jennifer, you're working so now. That's okay. I'm just glad to see you in here. You bring up the vibes, seeing you in here. Seeing the names bring up the vibes. Oliver Marks, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Dark Rider, welcome in. Strider, good afternoon. All right, so let's get into this. So big news here. Big news in us. And I'm going to read an article that ties into this XRP Bitcoin pairing, but this little bit of an event. And it's something that we've talked about, but it's going to help us, show just how significant this movement is. Like, that's what you got. James, I think I seen when you had posted about ZBCN, because I matched with somebody who was in our audience. I couldn't remember who it was, but I kept seeing the postings, and you had bought it at a reasonable time. And I said, if it comes down to 0.014, I'm going to buy the same amount. And when it came down to 0.014, and I even said it may not have come to 0.0141, but it came damn close. I mean, when I say it came damn close, it was like 0.014 whatever. So once that happens, I call a spade a spade. That becomes, okay, so it came to 0.145 instead of 141. Close enough. But did I not repeat that over and over and over when it got to 0.021? Up here that I would not buy it until it dropped to 0.014. And I was part of this rally, remember, from down here all the way up to here and then sold. And then I was waiting for the proper back test to ride it out because I said I don't want to buy and sell this one. I want to hold it the next time I buy it. And that's exactly what I did. So we'll see what happens here, but looking good so far, up 14.7%. But I got a lot to talk about XRP and the Bitcoin pairing. I really do. So let me do the intro, and then we're really going to get into this because I feel like Ethereum, as it's pushing back towards that rising channel, it's pushing back into it. This is a significant moment. Summit, welcome in. Bitcoin is taking off in front of our very eyes. We hit an all-time high. But good afternoon. 12:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So the significant thing here is in the weekly time frame. You can look at the daily. We can look at it all we want with the XRP Bitcoin pairing about, oh, it's starting to break down, yada, yada. Maybe it comes down 40%. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the fact we have a weekly golden cross. We've come through the 20-day, which means there is a chance we could hit that 1994 area. But this golden cross is impressive. Inverse head and shoulders. Back testing the breakout of said inverse head and shoulders. Broke out of a descending wedge. And if this actually plays out to full potential, we're going to get up to that. And I've been talking about this level for a long time. And you could bounce it off here, but we're going to do it from, I guess we would have to wait for it to come back over the 20. But I mean, look how that would play right into that. If this plays out, that's where we're going. And you don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm going to read something that ties into what I'm saying. And we know it's flashed, the XRP Bitcoin pairing has flashed in the weekly because we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. And it's a significant event. This is the same thing that happened. Remember when XRP dropped to 38 cents last year? When was it? August? Somewhere, what was it? July, August? Somewhere around there, September, somewhere in that range. That's when the XRP Bitcoin pairing initially flashed in the weekly before a golden cross. Took a couple weeks, and then we had a substantial breakout. We're going there again. We are going there again, and then some. This is going to be the one that makes you say, holy crap, I can afford my bridges now. XRP Bitcoin pair flashes first golden cross, hinting at major bull run for XRP. The pattern has raised the probability of ratio breaking out, or has raised the probability of ratio breaking out of its prolonged sideways trend and a sign of major XRP uptrend. So this is a daily technical analysis. Blah, blah, blah. The ratio between payments-focused cryptocurrency XRP and Bitcoin's dollar-denominated prices has triggered its first golden cross on the weekly chart, indicating a bullish shift in momentum. A golden cross occurs when the 50-day, week, month, simple moving average. So the 50-day moving average pushes us past the 200-day. You get the confirmation by the 100-day crossing through the 200, and you get the confirmation once that, the 20 crosses the 50 or the 200. That's when you get your signal. You get your confirmation, or at least it's further when you get the 100 or the 50 through the 200. But once that 100 crosses the 200, that's a full-blown, I guess I would say through the 100 crossing the 200 be your confirmation. But you're signaling, like you have a real signal when the 20 crosses the 200, like, holy shit, we have a golden cross. When the 100 or the 50 crosses the 200, that validates it. That will validate that golden cross. It's validating a trend reversal. Once the 100 crosses the 200, you have confirmation now. So right now, we've already done the 20 cross the 200. We've had the 50 cross the 200, which is substantial. If this 100 crosses, that light blue line crosses the dark blue line, that would be a substantial, and I mean substantial, indicator. But now we got to back test it probably. It happens all the time. And we haven't quite touched it yet. Sometimes you come through all the way to the 100 days, so I wouldn't be surprised. But that's a significant thing that's happening. And the reason why it's doing it like this right now is Bitcoin's having its run right now. Bitcoin just blew past all-time highs. And if it holds, as we've been talking about, first level is like 114, 115. But then you got that target initially out of the breakout in this bull run all the way back some $50,000 to $75,000 ago on Bitcoin. It signaled on the breakout of a huge cup and handle like that 127, 128K area. But even over the top of that, from what we've developed, you're talking 145 or more if this plays out properly. It's the exact reason why, and I know for some of you that are new, you wouldn't be privy to this because you weren't here. But it's when Bitcoin made this drop down to 72K. And I had a slightly different chart, but now we have to go back to, okay, well, this is where the back test, if it fell farther down, would have to come down. But we had a target at 72K back in December. The reason it's like this now is because that's the inverse head and shoulders to where you could technically come down here and not invalidate this structure. But I don't necessarily think that's what it's trying to do. I think it's just going to surge out possibly, and that's a fake left shoulder, and then Bitcoin comes to this crazy head. where I pointed there with that big arrow. So that's something that I can see happening, and that's the same time frame. When I said everything's within 10% of the bottom, it's time. Like, if you want to buy, I'm giving you my blessing. Now, there's no guarantee, but it was within 10% of that $1.50. Like, literally, when it came down here, it was one of those things like, all right, I mean, now we have to buy our stuff. Bitcoin's down to 74 or 72K, which was the prediction. XRP, we wanted it at $1.50. And the only thing I was mad about this was that it didn't hit that $1.50, that fair value gap. But it did everything else that we had drawn out well before. Even when it was way up here, we drew this out and said, what if it has to do this? We got our validation with the third hit on support. Third time back up, it broke out. Now we're back testing. This would be a substantial breakout into unknown areas for XRP. It'd be unknown. This would be unknown. You'd push past through the distribution zone, back into demand, and then once you break through demand here, you're in discovery. And the beauty is we had a true blessing here by this coming up after 7-year consolidation, breaking out, and once it could have got into discovery, it said, nope, all these people that were stuck here for 7 years, they said, nuh-uh, we're not sitting through this anymore. We've seen this act before. And all these people are selling. Everybody on the way up were selling to the correction of a 50% breakdown. And we did the forward projection just in case it didn't break out and that started a wave 5. And where it could pull us back if we went back into the recent history. So we know our history. Our first goal, or our first 5-wave breakout, it took about 3.5 years. Our second failed 5-wave took about 3 years. Then we went into a WXY correction, 3-wave correction, however you want to distinguish it. Now we're into another 5th wave or 5-wave. The only difference is the 4th wave correction so far. If that's it, it's only taken about 6 months. But being in a super cycle, you would expect that. So the blessing occurred when it came back down and dumped off 54% from the top down to $1.62, liquidated or got rid of all those people that were there and were made whole and didn't want to stick around. They're out now. They're out. Imagine sitting in it for 7 years, waiting for that build up and saying, to hell with this, and not waiting for the next step after sitting there for 7 years. Now they could sell out and know that there was going to be a big retracement had they have studied their charts for 7 years instead of, sitting there pissing and moaning, and they could have had a significant sell-off, bought back 50% cheaper, cashed out half of it, and had the same amount of stuff for the next move up. That's what the wise man probably would have done. Or just reinvested it all and had twice as many tokens. And that's something that I love doing. So once we get past here, I mean, it is so substantial because of what we did that we opened the door for something huge. You haven't seen anything yet with ALGO, Mario. There's a reason why I hold 33,000 tokens and counting. So a Goldencross occurs. We already explained the Goldencross. The crossover confirmed on... All right, so... indicate that the short-term trend is now outperforming the broader trend with the potential to evolve into a major bull run. The crossover confirmed that XRP Bitcoin's weekly chart increased the likelihood of the ratio breaking out of its 4-year-long sideways channel, hinting at a major XRP bull run relative to Bitcoin. And I believe it. I think it's coming. I really do. This is coming. This is coming. And when it does, you guys are going to... I think you're going to lose... I just hope you don't lose your mental capacity to understand what's going on. The ratio has been locked in a narrow sideways trend since late 2020 with regulatory uncertainty keeping XRP from cheering the crypto market bull run. And if you're looking for significant wealth out of this and you've been doing this the right way, I've said this before and I said it again. If you're a dick in real life, when you get a bunch of money, you're going to be an even bigger dick. That's just the way it goes. If you're a good person and you want to create abundance for others, that's gonna allow you to transcend what you already want to do in life, like helping out and doing things and being generous and giving and things like that, being a person of charity. That's why you got to work on yourself now and your mindset, because this is happening one way or the other. It's going to happen to the rest of us. So a lot of you have some soul searching to do. Are you going to be a person who's giving or a person who takes, and somebody who just becomes the biggest snub asshole out there and walks around and is like, I've already achieved more than this asshole at work's done? Or are you going to be the guy who says, I'm going to teach this person how to do exactly what I'm doing for no money down? There's only two kind of people in this world. You either give or you take. I'm a giver. What are you? However, last month, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, dropped its appeal against a favorable ruling for the XRP user Ripple, which established that XRP is not a security when sold to retail investors on public exchanges. In other words, a significant obstacle has moved out of the way, clearing the path for breakout, suggested by the Goldencross. The potential breakout could trigger a substantial rally, driving valuations to record highs. Markets tend to build energy during consolidations, which is then released in the direction of the eventual breakout. Thus, the longer the consolidation, the more pronounced and rapid the resulting price movement is likely to be. That's a great article. That's a great article because it at least gave you the bottom line. XRP Healthcare, we can definitely look at XRP Healthcare. Tom, whenever we win the crypto XRP lotto, I will be making a deposit to your channel, brother. Hey, I would appreciate it. But, only when the time is right. I've heard that from a lot of people, and some have kept their word. Some have joined Tom's army when it's hit certain prices. That's appreciated. It really, really is. It's always nice when someone forward thinks. That's true, bro. Thanks for it. Is true, Triple X. It's why if you're unhappy without money, you're gonna be very unhappy with money. Lose the hair. Maybe the goatee, but I don't know. I'm gonna have a hard time cutting the hair, I'll be honest. Kenny G said, great point, Tom. I'm gonna give her 100. I love it. Julie likes the hair too, so I got nothing to worry about. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome, and everybody go follow the Cannabis Podcast, especially if you like cannabis, but not just because you like to indulge, but if you're looking at it for the medicinal side as well, the factual side, maybe some tips on how to grow, maybe to garden a little bit, it's the place to be. He's in Tom's army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor, and I'm in the Cannabis Podcast army as well. He doesn't call it an army, but I'm in his little club. You get to be part of a Patreon and stuff, so you get extra information if you're part of it, which is cool. Bitcoin will run to 115 or 20, then dominance will fall, and hopefully Ethereum rips. I think Ethereum's going to start ripping with Bitcoin here shortly. Now look at it over 2,600. I mean, we'll see if this continues, but it feels like Bitcoin or Ethereum's getting ready for a substantial move. And it would make sense. It would absolutely make sense. Ethereum is trying to break into that rising wedge area, trying to invalidate that weekly, not quite death cross. See what happened right when it was about to have a death cross, it reversed. This is the scenario we talked about. Once it broke out of the rising wedge, eventually it was going to have to reverse and have to test that rising wedge breakdown. And that could be either where it makes it or breaks it. Because this could be a massive, and when I say massive, I mean massive opportunity for the alt tokens here. If Ethereum now is ready to do something like this, or if it does something like this and gets out of here, it's going to put in a massive recovery phase, and that's going to be a nice descending. What do we say about descending formations? Eventually, and what would this be, guys? I know it was trying to trick us into breaking down out of a rising wedge, but why did I circle this? Left shoulder, head, formed our right shoulder for us. We were just waiting to be able to circle the third spot. See what happened here? Ethereum's trying to trick us into thinking it fell out of a rising wedge, which it did. But now, is it not just created an inverse right shoulder? Especially if it comes back up through that rising wedge. And then it pushes us to 4,000, then ultimately my target at 7,300. I don't just put targets out for no reason. I'm trying to be a forward thinker. So now that we can clearly circle this area, I think that's what's going on. I think they tried to trick us. And unless this gets rejected and we have to kind of rethink this, I think they tried to fuck us. Right here. I do. Oops, let me turn that yellow. I think they tried to trick us all. Oh my God, it fell out of the rising wedge. Oh my God, this can't be. But knowing full well that most people aren't even going to look at the fact that, oh, it's got that right shoulder it had to form on the inversion, which would force it to come out of the rising wedge, which is exactly why I circled the first two. And now we circled the third, right there. We said it wasn't formed yet, so we can't circle the third, the invert right arm. I don't know. Now it kind of looks like if that pulls up, that's exactly what it did. And it's a jank looking one, but it's there. That is absolutely there. So we'll see if that pans out like that or not. And we'll see if that was a big trap. I tend to think it was, but if we get rejected where we're at 2,600, well, obviously that's a further sign that we're going to go to $496. I'm not ready for that, and I don't think Ethereum is either. Kenny, thank you for the $10 donation. Thank you for all your help. He said, you are welcome, Kenny, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. It's because of generosity like yours that I can have this touchscreen that I'm watching right now next to my tablet that I got because of generosity like you guys. But I can see the comments, I can see the stuff in front of me, so I don't have to wonder anymore. And you don't need to see it across the screen either, so it makes for better ease. And in the morning, I think I'm going away from the touch screen, and I'm going to use it as this Evolve technology where I'm sitting here. I got my screen, I got the stuff on the side because I think I'm liking it better. Like this makes me feel more professional. And I think it's just better ease. In the morning, as much as I love doing the touch screen, it's not clear enough. So, as you know, from the standpoint of video recording it. So, I think I like it like this better, especially with the technology I have. I got so much stuff around me now that makes it a lot easier. Joey McCaffrey, thank you for the $5 donation and also being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. How's DGB looking, Tom? Thanks for your opinions on this stuff. You are welcome. DGB, I think DGB looks fine. I have 2 million tokens, and I'm just waiting for this next progressive step. Still formed in this perfect formation. It just hasn't broke out. It's a very wide consolidation. We've had a couple hits on support, a lot of support touches. Just haven't been able to break out of it. In the weekly, it could be a small reversal, but I tend to think that those were traps. So I think this could do exactly what we were talking about with Ethereum. And if that's the case, this is the first step to a big break. I mean big. I think DGB is going to bring us to the promised land. I also think ALGO is going to take us to the promised land. I think if you do it right with Ethereum, it's going to take you to the promised land. I think if you do it right with a lot of the things we talk about, like XRP's already taken us to the promised land. It's just trying to take us higher. Not the actual promised land that most want, but for me, for what I'm trying to achieve and becoming a 4-figure heir to the 5 to the 6 and now eventually the 7, because now I got to go from 6 to 7, which is going to be, it seems like it's the hardest, but it's the easiest. Because when you work from the 3 digits to the 4, then 4 becomes 5 a lot easier. 5 turns into 6 a lot easier than 4 turning into 6. Just like 3 turns into 4 a lot easier than 3 turning into 5, or 4 turns into 5 better than. So you keep using that logic, but you maintain the exact same philosophy the whole way through. It doesn't matter if you have 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, or a million. The journey is the exact same. Just because it's higher dollar amount, there's higher risk, higher reward. It's the same percentage loss or gain. You just have more money. So when you see a $6,000 loss instead of a $600 loss, instead of a $60 loss, you have to understand the ratio differentials. A lot of people struggle with that and they can never get to the next tier. Hey, when you're only used to a few $1,000s, losing hundreds of dollars is the norm. When you're used to, tens of thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars become the norm. When you have millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars become the norm. So when you're in the investment game, you kind of grow through your demographic here with what you own. Now with DGB, I still think that was a fantastic push out here. 4 hourly makes it look a little head and shoulder-ish, but if you bring it into the daily, you kind of see how it had the breakout. Now it's back testing the initial breakout spot. Yes, it came back into the pattern, but it was a little early, that's all. And I'm okay when stuff breaks out just a little bit early so that it can end up clearing the backtrack. And you can see a big inverse pattern setting up. Like, it's not because I love DGB. Like, I'm XRP future millionaire with the side bet on XM and future DigiByte OG. And there's a reason for that. Because I believe DGB is going to make me my biggest bag. I've said it once. I said it 10 times. I've said it 1,000 times. It's much too cheap for what it does. It's much too cheap for the technology it runs. And it's much too cheap for this time in this part of our digital history. It's just too damn cheap. And eventually, a lot of people in my community are going to reap the rewards with 95% of crypto have no idea what the fuck DGB is. Okay? This looks very similar to what we've seen in other charts. This next one, though, for DGB, when it finally happens, it's going to be unbelievable. ALGO, before I forget, up 3.6%, up over 23 cents right now. Another one, and these W's I have drawn out. That's no different than what I had on the XRP market cap because I had so many different patterns on the other ones. How I had this drawn out. This, I didn't just draw this out. This has been drawn out. The only thing I drew out recently was this little handle that it was drawing out. See this cup and handle? See how it's breaking out? That's the only thing I've updated. The rest of it has been here since 2022. And we were saying, well, what if, guys, this is what it's working on, the biggest W we've ever seen. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. And now we're doing this consolidation, and it seems pretty unbelievable. Looks like Bitcoin broke out of its rising wedge in the 30-minute chart. Oh, yeah, definitely. But now it's got to back test it. So we don't know if it's actually broken out. Just like Ethereum's doing the same back test. We don't know if they've actually broken out, if they're just back testing or what. But it seems like we have a lot of positive momentum here. And it should get stronger. The fact that I know for a fact, like I promised the audience, they weren't cutting rates the first 2 or 3 times around. But by Q3, they're setting up for dollar de-dollarization. Single-handedly, like the breakdown of the dollar. And we're going to go into quantitative easing. And we're going to go into money printing. In the M2 money supply, we're about 108 days off. And it's going to catch up. And when it does, I mean, just a matter of, are we being jabronis? Or are we being forward thinking? Are we afraid? Are we afraid of the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, doubt? Are we paying attention to what we know? Or are we just listening to somebody else the whole time? Now, if you listen to somebody else, you better pray that you find somebody who actually gives a shit and does this for the real reason. Because 9 out of 10 that I find on YouTube, the only reason they're doing it is to promote some bullshit so they can get rich because they can't trade. But they pass the illusion of being traders, even though they couldn't read a chart if it bit them in the ass and slapped them in the face. So that's the uncertain reality that we have. So you're lucky you found this community. I show it. I don't charge for any of it. If you want to join Tom's Army, that's up to you. You can send a donation. You can do whatever you want. I've been doing this March 24th of 2021, and I've never missed a day. That's because I have to be here. Not because I'm forced to be here, but because if you miss a day, you miss it all. Like, look at today. If you wouldn't have been watching today, you didn't get to see how ALGO is very much breaking out of this formation and how it's finally starting to round out. Like, do you know how long we've been waiting for ALGO to do this? This goes back just like XRP's in December. Look at the big descending pattern. That's over 70% of the move now. It's well within the range of a massive breakout. So then I simply drew in a couple lines for everybody. And it's kind of so that I can save space and not have to clog this up all the time. So what I should have done, and I apologize, is I could have done this, and this would have made it much easier for you guys to be able to see this. I could have very easily put a price note and said, all right, the first tier is right there. We'll set that like that just in case. We'll clone this. We'll bring it up here. See, now we can kind of get it out of the way. So that's 38.2 cents. Just so we can keep it out of there. And then the yellow line's 30.5 cents. So ALGO's got a substantial reversal that's going to happen. And it's built a nice big cup and handle and a big inverse head and shoulders. Like, if you could see what I see here, you can see there's no doubt about it. It's going to 70 cents. Zero question. We don't know when, but it's already built in to go to 70. The question is how long does it take to get to $1.12 and ultimately fill off that cup at $3 or $2.98. That's the only question we have, is how long is that going to take? That's for you to decide, but I can tell you I have 33,000 tokens. But now we're having that back test. Like, now this is the painful spot. We had that quick run up. Now we need to see what kind of backup we have. Oh, let's see what's in the news. Tether discontinues support for EOS and Algorand. Well, that's not a surprise. Let's see. Actually, I want to make sure we catch up on XRP stuff. Is the XRP price mirroring the 2017 rally? And the analyst points out similarities. So crypto analyst, blah, blah, blah. has drawn similarities between the current XRP price action and the 2017 bull run. When the altcoin recorded significant gains, he predicts the altcoin could soon rally to double digits, mirroring the 2017 rally. In an X post, says the XRP price could rally to double digits as it mirrors the 2017 rally. He stated that the XRP is almost perfectly following the breakout pattern, which it is, of 2017 after 6 years of consolidation. The analyst added that the longer the consolidation, the bigger the price move. His accompanying chart showed that XRP price could rally to almost $40. But come on, guys, we got to get to where we're going first. This guy's been wrong more times than... Well, we won't go there. All right, that's not the one I want to watch. I don't want to see their speculation. I thought there was going to be more than blue. A measly 123,000 stolen in Uber theft. Big deal. Bitcoin soars past 107. Ripple buying circle could cause crypto apocalypse. Prominent lawyer claims. The doom and gloom. I'm not interested in the gloom. A lot of doom and gloom out here to make you think that it's not what you're seeing out here. Let's see. XRP futures generate 19 million. I mean, nothing really that I even care about there. Honestly. Key fact today, the first XRP futures trade was cleared by Hidden Road, marking a significant milestone for institutional adoption of digital assets and enhancing liquidity around XRP. The market capitalization is 141.72 billion in US dollars. Fully diluted market cap 241.75 billion. Trading volume in the last 24 hours 3.02 billion. All-time high $3.55. Circulating supplies up to 58.6 billion. Remember when I first started, we were at like 37 billion? It's crazy. Maybe even lower than that. It might have been like 30. Total supply 99.99 billion. Cool. See if there's any other stories we can find actually looking for it ourselves. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Then we're going to go into the heat liquidation map. And then we're going to go into XRP healthcare just because. Because I said so. Only 473 million XRP in 24 hours. This is not good. Let's see. Let's see what this, and then we'll go into some of the other stuff. I love reading some of the doom and gloom sometimes. Let's see. Good afternoon, Mo, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I told you so badge, my friend. I have a feeling the comments shut off on me. Sometimes it freezes and then I have to open it back up. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch more. Yeah, see, I didn't see the super chats because it blocked me off. Let's see. I seen Joey's. James, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Thoughts on ZBCN? Same market cap as DGB, possibly a 0.018. This will be its first run, so probably the biggest this cycle. I mean, that's why I'm so interested in ZBCN. It's created an all-time inverse head and shoulders, James. And that's why I ran it up the first time, and then I sold it and waited for several months because it had a wild consolidation. But it does have this all-time inverse head and shoulders that it actually put in the right shoulders. So if this breaks out, your next big area is up here at 0033. And then the sky's the limit because now you create this almost like this. But this is how you get up here if you break out. So, I mean, it's confirming this area. Like, we're looking at 3.3, 0033. But once that breaks, you are in a discovery. Like, this is one that it's never had a cycle. So it's creating an all-time reversal. We don't know where this ends up. That's the beauty of this. And I like to have my, okay, this goes outside the box. And that's why I have Canto. That's why I have ZBCN. Those go outside the box. Big time. They are not box checkers for me, but they are something that have come along in the recent past that we've done very well on. But after watching the chart, we know if it doesn't do the breakdown to 0.000821 out of a bearish pennant, we do the opposite, which brings us an extraordinary rise up. And this still from here would still mean it has about 50% at this next resistance. And that's, you would know that as long as you stay over 002, you're golden. You're absolutely golden for a massive breakout. And I'm ready for it. I'm all for it. Just like Canto, I'm all for it. That's one that doesn't get talked about a lot, but you want to know what drives me up a wall in a good way? Do you guys know what Canto's total circulating supply is? And the first time I seen this, I'm like, what? How does nobody talk about this? For how cheap it is, the current supply is 608.47 million is the current circulating supply. The max is only 1 billion. That's it. Do you know the upside potential with Canto with only 1 billion tokens? That's insane. It's insane. ZBCN, on the other hand, total... It's a bit different. It's a bit different. You're talking about the essentially the same amount of total tokens as XRP. So, if you want to look at it for a one-to-one, that's what you'd have to look at. What has more potential from where it's at with the 100 billion tokens when it has 20% more in circulation? I mean, ZBCN is so damn cheap, it's crazy. And don't do donations like me, do bigger. $1.99. Thank you, George. But hey, that's more than generous. You've been in Tom's Army for 6 months as well, with plus with the XP predictor. So I really, really thank you. $1.99, 1 cent, $12 million. It's all the same because it's your hard-earned money. It's not even about the money. It's more about the, it's more about the thank you for putting in your hard-earned time. You got any solo time? I do not. I put all those funds into XRP healthcare. Whatever I would have put into solo or Corium, I ended up just saying, the fuck this. I'm putting it into XRP healthcare. Best decision I ever made. Not because those two aren't fantastic, just because it's something that I believe in. Kyle Kupiak, welcome in. Cape Cod Kyle from Massachusetts. Also in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So Bad. Just sometimes doesn't show it. You missed a lot, so you'd have to go back. You'd have to go back. Take care, Rick. I know you have to, Oh, yeah. Even though YouTube takes a small percentage of super chats, that is something that, that's a good way to look at it, that it's tax-free. So, if you want to show support that way. Let's see. Possibly a great weekend incoming. If this continues this way, like I'll be in Grand Rapids this weekend. We're 1 year to the weekend from my son ended up in Grand Rapids for the emergency, where we were at Beaumont down here for a week, and then they sent him home with no resolution, misdiagnosis, and then he almost died. So we brought him up, gut feeling, to take him up to the Children's Hospital in Grand Rapids. It's the best decision we ever made. So we have to go back up there on Friday or Thursday, and we're going to make a little vacation of it because he's got to go on Friday to get his button changed and just to go over everything because it's been a year and we want to make sure what's going on. We had a little incident 3 months ago. So we'll be up there. We'll be up there. We'll talk about XP Healthcare in a second. Yeah. XRP's on-chain dynamic turned bearish as payment volume lost around 20%. Today I was tested from the man upstairs as well. I bought $145 worth of marijuana seeds, cannabis, and strands I wanted, and it appears somebody may have thrown them away on accident. And so I did not get mad like I normally would. I didn't yell. And I just said, I'm going to do my live and do some work, and if I have to, I'm going to order them again. They'll be here in a week. Yes, it might cost me another $145, but at the end of the day, it's money, and it's a cannabis seed. So that's what I mean. Like, you have to have a mindset of, is it even worth it? Stuff happens. And that's what I'm going to do. After I end this live, I'm going to order more seeds. They'll be back hopefully by the time I get back home. And then I'll just do it a week later. Yeah, my son's been doing fantastic. Like, he's been doing so good in school. So good in therapies. He's so happy. He's the only kid in his special needs class, which it's sad and it's also comforting to know that he's where he's at, even though he's autistic and he has, he's just slowed about. It's a lot of things. He's sensory issues and things like that. But he's the only kid in his class that ended up getting the approval to go on to elementary. Even though he's got an IEP and he'll have the special helpers and things like that, it's not actually special education because they don't do it where we're at. But it's like more of an inclusion style thing. So he's actually going into kindergarten in the normal class, which he's going to have opportunities like so many hours a week where he can get out of the class and do his own learning space. And they'll have like a bunch of people working with them, and he's got a G-tube and stuff. So, you know, he's still got pull-ups on, and it's a whole big thing when you deal with that kind of stuff, but they're very helpful. So I'm glad that he actually got to break through that, and he's actually going to be part of the not normal class. It's going to be hard for him. I consider him the normal kid just because they speak, and he's nonverbal, which to us it's normal. But when you talk about your normal populace, so that'll be an adventure. That'll be an adventure, but a fun adventure. So let's read this and then get to XRP Healthcare, and then I'm going to have to go soon. So from a technical perspective, XRP is currently flirting with the 26 exponential moving average, a key support level that often acts as the final threshold before momentum reversals become more serious. What time are you doing this feeding? Okay. We're going to relax together too, everybody. If you're still here, we have 148 people. It's been a fantastic and beautiful crowd here this afternoon. And I really enjoy doing the lives. Like, this is my favorite setting. More than the updates. The short I like to do because it's 60 seconds when people are at work or if they don't have time. They can see the daily flow. But I really like the lives. These hours I love. Sometimes hour and a half. So, a key support level that often acts as the final threshold before momentum reversals become more serious. A decisive close below the EMA would likely trigger further downside toward the 50-day exponential moving average, and possibly even the 100 EMA, currently around the $2.20 and $2.05 levels, respectively. And look at that breakout. Like, I know it looks like a head and shoulders, but if we break out of this, and it's probable that we do, we don't have to worry about that. We'll invalidate this and use it as a big inverse head and shoulders, which would be massive. And it looks massive because it is massive. Volume on the price chart is also tapering off, which means that the recent moves upward are not supported by a strong market base. That is kind of a caveat because it's going to taper off a little bit so you can have the back test of the breakout that's taken since December. So be careful with that volume tapering. You want to see the volume crashing as the volume drops back down. That's actually a key hint at a bullish continuation. This technical analysis is just a tad bit skewed. This makes the asset particularly vulnerable to sharp corrections or a prolonged sideways drift. The daily RSI has dropped from overbought territory and now hovers near the midline, showing indecision among traders, which is also a good thing. It's also a good thing. You want that to happen. XRP liquidity levels in the monthly, then we'll get to XRP Healthcare, and then we'll finish this. Plus, I need to eat. I'm hungry. You guys know I fast 16 hours a day, and the only thing I've had today was my protein stuff with my collagen peptides, and that's not very filling. Well, I mean, it helps, but you got to eat something else. What is going on here? Ah, there we go. Huh? Isn't it nice how you can see it on the TV and I can see what I'm looking? Isn't it cool that I can see what everybody sees now?
I like the purple.
That's the way I like it too. So we have serious liquidations down here, but we already came through this level. See how there's at 226? The good thing about that is we already came down here once. So yeah, there's a lot of liquidation, but we already came there. So now the more likelihood is we're going to get the stuff over the top. Maybe we'll come all the way over the top right now. But that 265 is a major pivot point. We want to try to invalidate what could be an inverse, or a head and shoulders, and play off of the inverse head and shoulders on what looks like an inverse, or the right arm, or a bear flag possibly. So, you know, we still got some stuff to work on. Ethereum. Nice topside liquidity to come tap right around 2,700. We talked about this before. That's still there. We're coming through these cycles. Now, we do have a big 1.65 billion on Ethereum at 1,728. But remember, that liquidation area is going to disappear if we come through like 28, 2900. Because now the ones who are going long, they're going to achieve what they wanted to. And once you get to a certain price depreciation, those levels clear away simply because they get closed out position-wise. And they don't have to take the chance of being liquidated. They get massive profit. So remember, you got to be careful there. Just like this looks like an inverse head and shoulders, and it looks like we're being played here a little bit to the downside, even though it's in time going to be super bullish. But we still have to break through and hold these rising wedge levels. So 2,600 is definitely something to watch, see if we can maintain once we get through. And Bitcoin, see what's happened here. We don't really have much liquidity over the top because we've never been here before. So just something to consider when you're looking at this. Just something to consider. XRP Healthcare, down 10% on the day, down 10.8% to 9.6 cents. Still very much in its consolidation phase. We were trying to break out of the first tier, and right now we're trying to actively backtest this breakout. The only problem is it seems to have put in some kind of reversal in the daily, but it's top heavy, so I think this is a fake out. I think this should carry through, and we should re-pull this back over for a Goldencross here in the short term. Now, you'll know this isn't quite panning out properly if we come through 8.5 cents. If that comes through, well, okay, we might have a problem. But as I see right now, I don't see anything wrong with this. Normal consolidation. Weekly looks great in an inverted hammer almost style setup. Even when it came back down here, you don't see much volume pulling it back down. So we'll see if we can get some follow through here. These seem to be the classic retest here on most of these. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. 265. I wouldn't expect to hit at 265 to come back down this time. The next time at 265, third time, I expect to see a power move through. I'm likely to it's either going to be 282 or 298. I could see that 278 to 282 range and then back testing 265 as support instead of resistance. That's what I could see. Silver's trying to make a little bit of a move here. It's up 1.25% to $33.50 an ounce now. This is great. This is great. But before we get into the metal stuff, make sure you pay attention to ZIL as well. That's another one I haven't talked about a lot, but I own like 350,000. I don't even know what it's at, and I just keep buying more. Big inverse head and shoulders, breaking out of that descending triangle, descending wedge, but it got back into the bigger pattern. Eventually, we're not going to be down here. We're going to be at 7.5. And eventually, we're going to be making that run past 10 cents into 30. And then some. I just feel like one day we're going to sit back and say, I can't believe for all this time we had this price. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean that it's just going to go straight up. And it doesn't mean that we haven't finished our drop down. It just means in time, we're looking in great shape here. But now, unfortunately, we have these back tests that I talked about before. Because now we need to see if we get the validation. Right now it looks fine. But, right now we got the initial rejection for the third time here. Now we need to push up and start using these areas at 109.5 as support. Until it does that, we get caught in this cat and mouse game. And don't ignore what I put about that drop to 89 in case it wants to put in an inverse right shoulder. So with that being said, I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you're still watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the wow, we're getting close to 40,000 people. That's crazy. 38,400 subscribers. Look in the video description below and or pinned comments of this very live for BITUNIX. They have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees. They have no VPN and KYC worldwide. That includes the USA. And they are an exchange that you have to send or receive from an exchange and or wallet, not from your bank account, because they don't do that. You can trade in privacy, and the spot trading and leverage, especially the spot, you're not going to see fees like you normally see on other exchanges. So it gives you the ability to swing trade if you want, to buy in confidence, or to sell if you think there's going to be a drop. You can sell. So, I would encourage that. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo if you want to send a donation. Outside of YouTube, Telegram, I highly encourage it. There's about 300 people in there. And it allows you to talk to all of us. It's free. There are no second chances, so don't be a dick. Come in there with a good spirit and you'll be fine. positive, helpful, courteous, have humility, things like that. There's a lot of talking. A lot of talking. 284 members, so a nice flow. A very nice flow. Very nice group. And if you stayed now, I think you know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen. Actually, you know what? We can't even get into that yet. Because right now, Fortuna Silvermine is up 3% to $5.84. Then we're going to get into that. We have this back test that we've already attempted, came through and created a big W reversal. Now, if we hold $5.78 or $5 and about 78 cents, guys, this is going to be unbelievable. If you're in this with me right now, if this happens, we're going to go up to the next level, and eventually we're going to be sitting here at $10. And we've created this whole reversal right now. If this powers through right now, we've created a substantial move here. Joseph Euler, thank you so much for the $20 donation and also being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. That's incredibly generous. Holy moly. Thank you so much for the generosity. That's like the 4th or 5th YouTube super chat during this live. That's incredible. So I thank you for that show of support, everybody. Joseph, thank you very much. So that's Fortuna Silver Mines. First Majestic. Bounce off its support structure. You guys remember when I bought back in after the sale? Up here sale. Buy back on support. I didn't get greedy. And now we're looking for this continuation through. Like, this could be a substantial move. This is creating that right shoulder. I mean, this is going to be huge when these happen. This is one that's going to be at 14, 15 bucks. And then some. Pan America Silver's up 1.3%. And this one's an interesting one because they just had an acquisition through a merger, well, merger and acquisition. They bought out another, it was a junior miner, a silver junior miner, which is very, very interesting. The price initially dropped because of the acquisition, which we knew that was bullshit, so you had to buy the drop. And it had good earnings, and now it's pushing its way back up already. This was the drop on the acquisition down to 2083, which is where we rebought back in after a sale. I believe it was right here. This was on that Tuesday, right before the Wednesday meeting. Drop, bought back, and now we're waiting. I remember it came up and then came right back down again, which was a kick in the nuts. But hey, it happens. Or no, the top and then the down, whichever, one of those two. And then B2 Gold's at 324. It had a drop down not too long ago where we sold at 330 right at their pivot point. Bought back in on the support structure. I think it was 290. No, it was below the support structure. 292. So it was right on the 200 day. Now look how we back tested. The next move would be $4.80. There's not much to hold us up at all. If we can get through here. So just stay patient, stay the course. Barrick Gold's at 1886. Hasn't done much here since the name change, but this is another one that's severely undervalued. One of the largest gold mining companies in the world. So, you know, that is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, and don't worry about the micro movements, everybody. These are the back tests. That's what has to happen. Maybe it falls through. Maybe we haven't even hit the floor yet. But in time, you do know what's coming. I mean, I would love to do this, but YouTube is not allowing me to do what I'm trying to do here. This is weird. Or, I mean, TradingView just decided it was going to freeze. I love TradingView. The Dow's down 719 points. All right, we're just going to do it like this. Since I don't think it's going to let me do this. Keeps getting frozen, which is so weird. Julia, it doesn't want me to sing Sunny Days. Doesn't mean I'm not going to. Just means that it doesn't want me to. No, I'm just going to do it like that. They're going to get a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sun. No picture, like Julie said. Well, we're going to find a picture somehow, some way.
Your comments are suns.
The comments are suns.
Everybody has a fun comment.
I think we can get this to work. Ladies and gentlemen, the sun. Sunny days. are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not forget the fun. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we won't and we may and we did and we won't and we have and we didn't and we will and wait 4 and 5 and we don't know 6, 7, 8, 9. What's going on? Where we go now? But now the son's looking happy. He's even reading his book on XRP. So we're falling and we're dropping and we're crashing up and down, left and right. And then you know how it goes. Yada, yada, yada. Right, Julie? I will finish, but I'm not ready to end yet, okay? So don't buy into the FUD. I'm not finishing. Everybody's anticipating.
Finish this.
Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we won't and we did and we may and we will and we won't and we did and we will and we will and we will and we may and we will and we will and we will. Oh yeah. Stay true. Stay blessed. Don't buy in to the bullshit. Believe in the sun. There, Julie, are you happy?
Yeah. I like believe in the sun. We have sun. We believe in the sun.
See what just happened? See how the market reversed that quickly? This is what ends up happening. That's how we get to see if that is in fact a breakout or a breakdown. Now we're either back testing that inverse head and shoulders or we got rejected at the rising wedge. That's what this is all about right now at this point. Same with Bitcoin, same with XRP. It's either we just got rejected by the wall or we're back testing the move up and we're about to surge very hard. There's no in between here. No in between. Have a blessed one.